G'day, I'm Grant Norsworthy from More Than Music Mentor, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the song I Thank God. Have you heard it yet? It's amazing. I'm making this video in March 2026 and the song's actually been out for a while now, and I've noticed it showing up in a lot of churches' repertoires, even here in New Zealand, and I want to add it to my repertoire. This song that comes from Maverick City and Upper Rooms, I think in Atlanta, Georgia. It's great. It's got a lot of plays on Spotify. I think it's close to 50 million views of the original live video that's out there on YouTube, and it's charting well on CCLI. And it's always good, I think, to have another up-tempo song, right? Especially one like this one that's a testimony song, and it declares the transformation that following Jesus can bring about in our lives, and gives us a chance to express our gratitude and thankfulness to God. So yeah, I'd like to add I Thank God to my repertoire. But if you know the original Maverick City Upper Room version of the song, it's actually in C sharp, and it's got a really wide range. So we see in the original version of the song, we've actually got two different incredible male singers, both of them high tenors, who sing each of the two verses, verse 1 for one, verse 2 for another. This is how the first part of the verse goes. Wandering into the night, wanting a place to hide this weary soul, this bag of bones. All right, so in the key of C sharp, that some people would call D flat, but for our purposes, I'll call it C sharp. The register of that first part of the verse, the highest note is a C sharp, and the lowest note is a C sharp, which is very close to what I consider to be the ideal congregational range, which is C to C, or C to shining C. So the verse doesn't really present much of a problem, only half step out. But in the key of C sharp, we're going to go very, very high. The pre-choruses, the choruses, they're going to go up to a G sharp, which is way higher than that perfect C to C. And the bridge is even going to go to an A sharp, that we might call a B flat. So this key of C sharp is not going to be great for Jack and Jill congregant. They're not going to sing this. It's just too wide. So what can we do? Well, change the key. This is not rewriting the song. This is not changing what the original songwriters of this song has done, but it's actually just coming up with a version that's more suitable for our context. And I would suggest that instead of C sharp, we want to be in F, which is a lot lower. We're talking about dropping it 8 half steps. Or you could think of it as being going up 4 half steps. But I want to do it in F. Now, in the key of F, my highest notes now in the pre-chorus and the chorus are going to be C, which is right within my C to perfect C, but the bridges will jab up to a D just for a moment, and I think we can live with that, especially because it doesn't linger higher than that C. And what we're talking about, by the way, is we really want the men singing the melody between C3 to C4, which is known as middle C, and then the women and children singing an octave higher version of the melody from middle C, C4 up to C5. That's the way a congregation is going to be able to sing this song together most easily. So in the key of F, those choruses and even the bridge are going to be much more manageable, but what does the verse sound like? Well, here's verse 1 again. Wandering into the night. Well, we're getting really low. That's a low A, that note for night, and that's as low as I could possibly go for congregational singing. And I've noticed that this is a lot less energy than C sharp. We're going to have to absorb that, what I call a small musical sadness, less energy in the key of F, especially for me as a guy. But I believe that having every man, woman, and child in the room singing the song together, because of this, I guess, less vibey key, that'll pay us back in spades. That'll be fine. If we hear everyone singing together, we'll quickly forget that we're in a less exciting key than Maverick City. So listen to this though. Wandering into the night, wanting a place to hide this weary soul, this bag of bones. Oh, this is too low. Guys are going to give up singing. They're not going to do that. And an octave higher is too high. But this is what I've noticed. Every other part of the verses on this song, like the second half of verse 1 and both halves of verse 2, actually change one note and shifted an octave higher, so that the shape of the verse is more like that rather than like this. This is what I mean. So I want to actually steal that shape and put it in the first part of verse 1 as well as everywhere else in the song. This is what I call consolidating the melody. Rather than being very ad-libby and expressive, which I think the Maverick City Upper Room people should be, especially when they're solo singers as good as they are, that's not wrong, but this is our congregational version. So listen to this. This is how I would do it. It's taking that idea that is shown for us by the original singers from later in verse 1 and both halves of verse 2. Listen to this. Wandering into the night. That works. Wanting a place to hide. So going to the higher A rather than wanting a place to hide. That's what all the other verse places in that sort of flow of the lyric does. So I'm going to steal that, borrow that, use that. Wandering into the night. Oh yeah. Wanting a place to hide this weary soul, this bag of bones. Right, so now the first part of verse 1 is the same predictable shape as the second half of verse 1 and also both halves of verse 2. You see, our congregation don't really analyse melodies and map them out in their brains so that they can sing the variations from each line. They needed to be predictable. They will only feel free to sing with us if they feel safe that they know where the melody's going. So I'm going to reuse that and make each part of the verses more similar. There are a few other places in this song where the melody will need to be consolidated, not changed, not altering the original work of the songwriters, but consolidating the melody to find a way of using it in my context and probably your context so that everyone can sing it. Consolidating the melody, making it more predictable, easier for people to feel relaxed and free to sing the song. Because what we really want, after all, is to lead every man, woman and child in our room, whoever we're leading, small congregation, big congregation, medium-sized, no matter what the denomination, no matter what the flavour, the style, the vocal ability. We want everyone singing this song together as an expression of worship to Almighty God. So yeah, change the key, consolidate the melody, and we'll notice a massive difference in the level of participation of the congregation.